I've lost 18 pounds, which is remarkable. Remarkable. You're talking about a 50-year-old woman, menopausal, right? Breast cancer, thyroid disease. Never in a million years thought I could lose weight. Really, I was like, I'm maintaining things.
Yeah.
And here I am. One of my big philosophies has always been, if I had known this information when I was in my 20s,
Oh, God.
I wouldn't be sitting where I'm sitting.
Nope.
So I'm like, Susan, maybe you need to meet my daughters because I want them to have that user manual in their 20s. So they're not sitting here like me at 50 years old, trying to dig myself out of the hole I got myself into.
Welcome to the Everyday Epigenetics Raw, Real, Relatable podcast. I'm your host, Susan Robbins, epigenetic human performance coach. This is where we discuss all things lifestyle, environment, food, exercise, work, mind, and social interaction as they pertain to epigenetic expression in a way that's relatable to everyone. So if you're ready to start viewing you as an individual, take control of your life and health, and get results, buckle up. Here we go. Welcome to the Everyday Epigenetics Raw, Real, Relatable podcast. I'm your host, Susan Robbins, and this is the place we come to talk about everything lifestyle and environment and how it relates to our genetic expression. Today is a special one. I'm so excited for this one because it's a client podcast, and not just a client podcast. I have a trio of ladies here. And this trio, it's a mother and two daughters that I've worked with. It's going to be the ladies St. Ledger, and they are fantastic. And I met Mother Lisa last year, almost a year ago, and through a contract job, I had started coaching her. And immediately I need to do this PH 360 because we were looking at the things she was doing. She was having a major inability to lose weight. We'll get all into this. They actually did the PH 360 and the DNA with me. So we've done full coaching, and you're going to love this because there's going to be people out there that are going to relate to one of these three women. I guarantee you. And I think you're just going to be fascinated at where they have gone, especially Miss Mama Bear with the PH 360. And I warn people that once you start doing this, you will never look at anyone or yourself the same again. It is a whole different avenue with personalized health. So I want to welcome Lisa, Madailine, and Jo Quinn, St. Ledger, to the show. Hello, ladies.
Hi there.
Jo is driving right now. She just got off duty. You're going to wait to hear what she does, but I'm going to introduce each one of them. Lisa. So Lisa is a world geography teacher. She has been teaching for 28 years. She was the Virginia 2024 Teacher of the Year. That's no small feat right there. She's a wife, a mom of three. Like I said, I've got two of them here. And she is now an accredited PH 360 coach. And she's retiring from teaching this year, and she's going to be embarking on her new career. I'm going to have her talk about that, which is going to include PH 360. So this is going to be fantastic. She's 58 years old. So welcome, Lisa. And then we've got Madailine. Madaline's 27 years old. She has been an ICU nurse for 3 years, and she lives there also, Virginia, with her dog that is a Muppet.
Fozzie Bear.
Her puppy Cody, who was ready for his cameo earlier while we were waiting. And now he'll probably be back. But so welcome, Madailine. And then we have Quinn, who is the maritime muscle mama. And she's 24 years old. She is in the Coast Guard. She's a lieutenant junior grade. She's been in the Coast Guard for 7 years. Thank you for your service. And I mean that sincerely, she is a naval architect, marine engineer, and she was the top female engineer in her academy class. and she's doing boat inspections in Mobile, Alabama. So welcome, Miss Jo Quinn. Awesome to see you. I haven't seen these ladies
Glad to be here.
Oh, and wait, she just got off duty, you guys. Like legit just got off duty. So we've been waiting and now we're all here. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited to have you on. And so I'm going to start with Lisa, and then I'm going to go to Madailine, and then I'm going to go to Jo Quinn. We're going to go in order of age. Lisa, tell, let's talk about where were you when you and I met? And it was Dr. Amy, and you had some things going on there. Talk a bit about where you were health wise, career wise. What was it that you were looking for as far as what you were wanting to get out of everything?
Yes. 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroid disease. And at that point in time, I was pretty much in the traditional medical system. So I head off to a highly recommended endocrinologist. And I remember the first appointment, and she says, "We really don't know a lot about autoimmune disease. Here is some Synthroid. Be on your way." So I'm thinking, great, I finally have got a diagnosis. I'm going to start feeling better. I start on my Synthroid. 6 months later, not feeling any better. And so I go back in and I'm like, I'm not feeling any better. And she says, "Well, this is really the best that we can do." And at that point in time, I'm in my late 40s and I am so exhausted. Jo Quinn was still in high school at the time and she played field hockey and she would have some of these away games. And I was so exhausted that I either had to carpool or my husband would have to drive me to the game because I was so tired to feel safe driving to some of these games, especially if they were far and away. At any rate, I just thought, I don't want to live the rest of my life feeling like this. And I started doing lots of research and trying all these different diets and exercise programs, autoimmune diets, and still making some progress, but not doing anything fantastic, right? At this point in time, the weight gain had pretty much paused, but I couldn't lose anything. I'd get sick, I'd gain 5 pounds, never be able to lose it again, that kind of thing. So I started seeing a naturopath. I started doing all of these things that I thought I was supposed to be doing. And then all of my numbers kept getting worse and worse and worse. Weight gain's going up, blood pressure's going up, A1C's going up, and then I got breast cancer. I was like, all of these things, if I keep on this path, it's not going to work out well for me. I'm going to be diabetic. I'm going to be on hypertension medication. And here I am doing everything right, supposedly eating a clean diet. All my friends are eating pizza and drinking wine, and I'm sitting there with my salad and drinking my water. What is going on? Why is this happening? So I knew I just needed to completely change everything and just take a leap of faith to join Dr. Amy's team, online doctor, someone that you've never met before. Is this going to work out or not? And it's a financial investment. I thought I've got to do something different. So I joined up with her, which led me to you. And I'm thinking right now that I need to be on like a keto diet when I met you.
Yep.
Protein-based keto diet. That is the way to go. I've done all my research. It's working for a lot of people. And you say, I remember the very first time you're like, I'm going to tell you to do something that's unlike anything anybody else has ever told you to do. And I've got this program and you're going to like it. And so I'm like, okay, like I said, I'm going on the wrong path. I've got to completely change gears. I'll go ahead and give it a shot. And it's all vegetables. And I'm like, hi.
I remember your face when you got your profile.
Where is the protein? Right? I'm hypoglycemic. I've got A1C sugar problems. I need to be balancing out everything I eat with a protein or a fat. Yeah, no, you're not supposed to be. protein's okay, but not to the degree in which I was eating it. So at any rate, I went on the program, got my thyroid medication all balanced out as well. And when I got my follow-up lab work, I was shocked. Everything turned around. Everything turned around. A1C dropped point 2 points from 5.8 to 5.6. Blood pressure's going down. Cholesterol went down. I just had my 1-year cancer checkup last week, or Monday, I guess. It's looking really good.
Oh, fantastic.
So I've lost 18 pounds, which is remarkable. Remarkable. You're talking about a 50-year-old woman, menopausal, right? Breast cancer, thyroid disease. Never in a million years thought I could lose weight. Really, I was like, I'm maintaining things.
Yeah.
And here I am. One of my big philosophies has always been, if I had known this information when I was in my 20s,
Oh,
I
God.
wouldn't be sitting where I'm sitting.
Nope.
So I'm like, Susan, maybe you need to meet my daughters because I want them to have that user manual in their 20s. So they're not sitting here like me at 50 years old, trying to dig myself out of the hole I got myself into.
Yeah.
And
So
yes, we've heard this a lot. She's always if I could go back to my 20s, this is what I would tell you. So we've definitely heard this a lot.
Retweet that. Yeah.
yes. So girls, maybe you can talk about your experience then.
I don't want to leave you yet,
Okay.
because now you are a PH 360 coach. And you got on the program with me, and then you messaged me and you're like, I signed up for the next course. I become a coach. And you said, I can't wait to have my new career to do this. And you emailed me last week and you had told me about this new career. Now I don't know what it is. I want to know. We can't go on yet until you tell us, what are you going to be doing with this?
So I have been unhappy teaching for a good number of years, right? And I've just been praying for that opportunity, my exit strategy out of teaching. I'm too young to feel like I can retire and I still want to do something, right? But teaching is just not that fulfilling career it used to be for me anyway. And so all of a sudden, this PH360 showed up on my lap, right? And it was the first program I'm like, this really works. This is something I can buy into 110% because, like you, Susan, we're genuine, authentic people. And we want to truly believe in the services that we are providing. We want to believe that we are truly going to help people, right?
Yep.
And so
here.
I think I started with you like in April or something like this. It's very undiplomat. It's very undiplomat.
The way you were quick and made the decision like that.
Yes. I didn't sit there. I was like, all right. And I didn't just sign up for phase 1. I signed up for phase 1 and phase 2 at the same time. And I just really love the culture of the company as well. That was a big part of it. And so just getting in and meeting Cam, well, he's the one that does the phase 1 stuff, meeting Anne, who pretty much does phase 2, and working with their team. It just confirms it every single day. But you learn so much. You see the world in a different way.
Totally different.
You relate to people so much better because you know where they're coming from. And it's even helped me as a teacher. I use so many things when I'm teaching now. Like when I have a tall, thin boy come up, I'm like, that's a crusader. He not decides his past. Let's make this future oriented. I literally
Be very direct. Don't give him the fluff.
Nope. I told one the other day who was having a fit about something. I said, you know what? I am giving you the topic for your college essay right now.
I love it. I love it.
He's, oh, You are? Okay. And then he was fine. Future focus. So at any rate, yeah, so I'm super excited. I've actually started my own company called Resolution 360 because I think that I came up with a name because I want people to be resolved to solve their health problems.
Love it.
So that's
Love it.
resolution comes from.
Mhm.
This is going to do it for you. This is going to do it for you. I think I was sharing the story before. I've tried so many diets, right? You name it, I've tried it. And at one point in time, this diet that I thought was really going to work, it was getting up first thing in the morning, 5:30 a.m., and doing these HIIT exercise and following them up with a kale smoothie. Okay. Yeah. So if you're a diplomat and you're listening to this, you know that's the opposite thing you should be doing. You should not be getting up early. You should not be doing HIIT exercises. And my DNA says I can't even digest kale. It's like glass strip going through my digestive tract. Needless to say, I wasn't feeling better and I was actually gaining weight. So you know what I thought to myself? I need to do more of this. I was only doing it 3 mornings. I need to be doing this 5
You're
mornings.
being lazy, Lisa.
What is wrong? I'm not doing this correctly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Don't
So
know, we don't know. And you said that you heard my podcast last year with Candice and Christina,
yes. Yeah.
the couple in Texas, and about their detox experience. Now, the just so everybody knows out there, there's everybody and their brother has detox programs, right? A lot of times, but all around these supplements take this crap. But the PH360 has a detox for each of the health types. It's different for each of the health types based upon how they store fat, the systems that they tax the most. And then it's further personalized to you and specific foods that you likely should be tolerating or need at that time. And the Diplomat one is 10 days of basically salads and more salads, right? 10 days. Right? And Candice and Christina talked about their experience on their podcast, and that talk a bit about tell what you told me, how that affected you.
Yeah. So they were bragging about all this weight that they'd lost, that they'd gone through this detox and they'd lost all this weight. And I wanted to do detox in January of this year because, like we talked about, the last 6 months have been a roller coaster ride for me. I had a hysterectomy, I had the breast cancer surgery. Again, just a ton of major health kind of events in my life in the last 6 to 8 months. So I was finally at a place in January. I was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this detox. And literally, I'd heard your clients say they'd lost, I don't know how much they lost.
13.
Like
It's about 13 apiece. Yeah.
and I thought, that's never going to happen to me. I do these detoxes like everybody else. I'm lucky if I gain 3 pounds during the detox. 2 days after, I've gained it back. Like, I know there's so many people out there that are feeling like me. Yes, you try these programs, you see these people, they've had this success, and you are a non-responder, right? You do not respond the way. But I was like, it's okay. I'm not going to do it for the weight loss. I'm going to do it to feel better. I'm going to do it to feel healthy. I know it's good for me. So I did it and I lost 7 pounds and I've kept
That's
it.
fantastic. And you
that-
kept it up.
And that's remarkable. Plus, I feel better. You feel better. I
Yeah.
suddenly have so much more energy, so much mental clarity. So it's brutal though. But you did say one thing during that podcast that I remembered. If you get tired of eating salads, eat it soups.
Eat it as soup.
Eat it in soup. And so I made myself a soup and I ate that soup like 3 or 4 times a day.
There's so many ways to play with it. I couldn't stand to drink another smoothie. So I would take some of the smoothie recipes and cook them.
Yeah.
Like I sauteed up, I took the juice from the fresh pineapple and then I did the chunks of the pineapple and sauteed it with the Swiss chard and something, I don't remember what else it was. And that was like one of my favorite go-tos, to where when I was able to get my protein back, because 5 days for the activator, no protein, no fat. My cats look like ribeyes by day 4. You guys better watch out. Everything just was reminding me of meat. And but then I added like some chicken into that or some ground turkey. I was like, I actually really like this. So you never know what you might find. We can be creative. And if you think outside the box a little bit, there's so many options with how you can work it. That can
Yeah.
be super helpful. And for the winter, you needed the warmer anyway. So that putting that into a soup, really good
Yeah.
for the body there.
Somehow it was satisfying. I also made a ginger carrot soup. I went through 7 pounds of carrots. Okay, just I bought 2 pounds of organic carrots the first time I went to the grocery store. I'm like, dang, I need to get more carrots. The next time I haven't bought the 5-pound bag. But I made this ginger carrot soup, and that's what I would have for a snack, like just a small little bowl of it. And my instructional assistant's like, "Are you eating baby food? I'm really worried about you." No, this is a ginger carrot soup. It was creamy. I was like, "It's actually really good." But yeah, so you can do so many things. But my husband is an activator. He did the detox with me. And yes, I was sitting there looking at him as he ate his chicken. Are you enjoying that?
Yep.
He'd hide in
Yeah.
the closet and eat his chicken. Like,
Yeah, it's tough. It's when you have somebody that's super supportive as you're going through it. That's why the girls enjoyed going through theirs together. They were supportive of each other. And again, they tried to go where some of their foods were the same. They're both diplomats, but different. Now, I do want to say the 3 diplomats we have here, Lisa is up, if you like, PH 360 has a wheel, the wheel of creation, embryology. And it's how you're formed in the womb, right? So the diplomat, and there's degrees, they go by 5 within that circle. And all 3 of these ladies are diplomats, but they're all different. You've got Lisa, who's up towards the cusp of the guardian. And then you have Madailine, who is pretty much dead center. And then Jo Quinn is down towards the censor. Their profiles are all completely different. And they all have different issues, right? And different needs. And each of their profiles is so vastly different. So you look and go, they're all diplomats. It's going to be the same. Nope, not even close. Not even close. So that's why I wanted to have them on, because people lump people into everybody being this way. Diplomats have a lot of the same general characteristics, but Lisa has a lot of guardian characteristics. Madailine is Diplo through and through. And then you have Jo Quinn. We had to, with her eating, the diplomat tends to store more, but she was so much more towards censor that we had to actually bring that type of eating into it more to give her more food, break it up a little bit more. And that works better for her. So that's, I think, also the importance of, yes, you can have the app or the online, the platform, but when you have a coach that understands it and understands you, AI is fantastic, but it's not going to take the place of the human that helps to guide you through it and support you through it. So that was the beauty of working with that, especially when it came to Jo Quinn with working some of that. But Lisa, but just a fantastic story. Thank you. And everybody here is totally open about everything, and I love it. They're just so sharing and giving. Just a great family. All right. Anything else you want to add in before I move down to Miss Madailine?
No, go ahead. She's up next.
All right. Madailine, you're up. So,
Hello.
Madailine is our nurse. And again, she's a diplomat in the center, pretty much full blown. She's got characteristics, a little bit of everything there. But Madailine, where were you on your health journey when everything started, and what were you hoping to get out of the program? Because you and I had a consult, and it was also pretty quick of, yeah, we need to work together.
Yeah, so I do remember my mom being like, "Hey, I've been working with this woman named Susan. I really want you to start meeting with her." And I was kind of like, okay, whatever, maybe. And then I do remember, especially when Jo Quinn started working with you too, being like, "When's your meeting with Susan?" It definitely became like a conversation topic of being like, "When are you going to talk to Susan?" And I'm like, "All right, I'm talking to Susan." Okay. But yeah, I would definitely say when I was thinking about meeting with you and everything, I was in a place of a lot of anxiety around food as well. Like my mom, I'm hypoglycemic, and I just felt a lot of food insecurity, as well as struggling with some mental health stuff as well. So a lot of anxiety, depression, and feeling like I didn't know who I was in the world. And again, I'm 27. I think I was 26 when I first met you
Yep.
as well. And again, that's within range of what was my age group. But so yeah, so when I finally started meeting with you, I think I was living in an apartment, which again, with my diplomat stuff, we decided that that was not the best place for me.
Say why, because this is important. And I think the important thing here is everybody focuses on food and fitness as the be all end all. But for the diplomat, the number one priority is place. It's time
Mhm.
and place. Don't rush me. Which when you're, I think it's so funny. You got Lisa was like, it's so uncharacteristic of me to say I want to do this right away. And Jo Quinn was like, yep, makes sense, logical, because she's down right on the sensor cut. Yep, makes sense. I'm in. And you were the one that was like the waverer. You're
Yeah.
not, I'm procrastinate, put it off. Again, the true diplomat. And when we started talking, I was asking you about your space. What did you like? And you're in this apartment. And I remember you telling me you just, it didn't feel, it didn't really feel like home.
Mhm.
And that where you had lived prior, there was a pool out there. You had a little kiddie pool that you and the pup could get into. And that just brought you so much joy.
Yeah, see, I never really and that's one of the reasons why I love the PH 360 is it really categorized, like, different parts, and like what you said, like, place is so good for diplomat, and I never really realized was what am I not doing for myself? And I never really realized that it was actually like, oh, where I am, right? Where I begin. So, and for diplomats, that's so big, right? So yeah, so like I lived so I've been in college, nursing school and everything, and I've always lived in apartments except for one time I lived in a house where I had a backyard, and I would mow that backyard, and I got a kiddie pool from Walmart that was like $60, and me and my dog would sit in it and listen to murder podcasts, and I loved it. And
So
I will never forget that. That was the happiest I've ever been, was sitting in that kiddie pool with my dog in the middle of the summer and mowing my grass, and I loved it. And and still, like, my friends in nursing school, they all called it my in-ground pool. It was a $60 pool from Walmart, but I called it my in-ground because I would put up little cup holders or whatever I wanted and invite my friends over to sit in the kiddie pool. But, yeah, I never realized, like, how happy that house made me, and it was some old house in some old part of Virginia. It was not nice at all, but I realized, like, what it meant for a place. And so when I met Susan, I was in an apartment again. I lived in apartments all throughout school, and I was like, "You know what? Imma move to a house and start renting a house with a yard." So now that I'm renting a house with a yard, again, not the nicest house, lose a lot of electricity bills to the old windows, but I love it. It's my space. I don't have to worry about my neighbors. I don't have to worry about immediately walking outside and seeing anyone. Like, I can just be in my own house. And it's like where I begin every day. And I think that's really like the big deal is where I begin every day is in a house that's like my own space.
that was huge for you. When you said,
Mhm.
I'm going to go house hunt, but I couldn't get into this one that I wanted. And you started getting down about it. And it was like, the
Mhm.
right one's going to come at the right time. And then
Mhm.
you messaged me and you said, it happens. Like I got one and it's got a yard. And it was your whole
Yes.
demeanor, like everything, your whole energy picked up. And then you just really realize, I can't believe how much a difference. And when you moved in there, what a difference. You didn't even have everything put where you wanted it yet. What's funny is you were moving right when Joe was. That it was just like you had the ability to make it yours.
Yes, I remember me and my boyfriend eating breakfast on the ground and being like, "This is where I'm gonna put the kitchen table." So I loved it. Ever from
Yeah.
the beginning, yeah.
And then you were also working nights.
Yes. Yeah. So working night shift, I definitely was at the time thinking that I'm just not going to be happy until this is over. Right. And thinking this is just a means to an end. And to a certain point, it definitely still is. But yeah, working with Susan, I've known like my circadian rhythm and everything, like just recognizing that and knowing that I need to keep that as true to its form as I can. So now for night shift, instead of I used to just sleep all day, wake up, not feeling horrible, eating a huge meal, going to work, being literally telling my patients, hey, just so you know, I'm not a night shift nurse. I'm going to be grumpy all night. Let's do this together. I literally would tell them that at the beginning of the night. And now, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I've had a bunch of patients actually write me awards of recognition when I'm working night shift, which
Wow.
never would have happened ever because I go in there being like, we're going to do this together. Like, we're going to make it together. Whereas now, like, I think even my patients like notice I'm in a better mood just because I go in. I try to eat throughout the day with my normal rhythm. And then at night, I don't really eat. If I feel hungry, I try to eat something liquid. So some like chicken broth, bone broth, something light. And it like curbs my like what I feel like I need to be eating, curbs my appetite and everything. And then I actually bring breakfast for in the morning, whereas if I was waking up for a day shift, I would normally be eating around 6 a.m. So I bring in some breakfast, whatever it would be, like egg bites or whatever. I know Susan and I specifically talked about I need to be eating eggs at least 3 times a week, which previously I've heard different. So and I love eggs, so I'm glad about that. So, yeah, I'll bring in my egg bites or whatever and eat those at about 6 a.m. and then be able to go home and nap throughout the day, and I have so much more energy. So
Another thing, like that, I'm telling you, it is such a different Madeleine than the Madeleine I met last year. If people saw, it is such a different Madeleine. Your confidence, it just
Mhm.
everything is completely different. And she would sleep all day, and then macaroni and cheese, that was your go-to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not giving up
Yeah.
mac and cheese, right? And
Yes.
that really changed, which is, and for people that don't know, and I'm a retired, I was first responder as well, and I've worked with first responders, and that eating in the middle of the night is one of the worst things as far as creating insulin resistance. It starts within just a few days. You start heading that way. And I remember my big laugh is when I was a rookie in Aurora and I was on I thought I lived as a diplomat for 54 years and I thought I'm a night person. I'm going to work graveyards. God, again, Lisa, if we knew
Mm-mm.
what we knew, right? This is
I know.
23 years ago. And we'd all go to lunch to breakfast at like 3 a.m. and I go to damn Denny's and eat moons over my hammy, stuffed French toast, and I'm celiac. I didn't so I'm just like, everything we do was just wrong. And I didn't know at the time why I ballooned as well. So hearing your story, it's the same thing. So if you're a first responder listening, you work night shift, it makes a difference. To not be eating. Our bodies are not meant to be eating overnight. And again, just the difference, like even how you talk about it and your awareness now. I always say if we do anything with this program, it's create awareness. And you are blowing me away because we haven't talked in a while. The amount of awareness that you've brought in and still like these principles from the PH360. And the other thing with Madeleine is I think we found the MTHFR issues. She definitely needed those low iron, definitely had some specific supplementation she needed, and we found that with the DNA. And so I had her, she told me a supplement she was taking, and I'm always like, all right, let me see the label because due to some of the variants she has in some of the DNA SNPs, there's certain forms of things that aren't going to work for her that could actually become more toxic because she doesn't utilize them well. And so she showed me the prenatal she was taking, and I'm like, yeah, this one's not good. That's all the wrong forms here. And so recommended a different a different one for her there. And I went through, I don't know how many different quality multivitamins I went for, looking to get as close as I could to that initial one. I think we found one.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So we cleaned that up for you as well, which I guarantee you some of the issues where you're saying there were some mental health things going. Do you feel more clear there as well? Because some of that lack of supplementation and supplementation in the incorrect ways, and then the diet itself plus the stress was really feeding all of that genetically.
Yeah, no, I definitely think a lot of my anxiety was, like, putting me into bad habits and making me, like, do things that weren't, like, for myself. It was making me, like, try to go find things elsewhere. But yeah, like you said, like, I've always been told, like, "Oh, you're anemic, you need to take these type of supplements." And then the supplements that we've talked about and that have got me on now, and I actually bring a little baggie with me to work so I can take them. Especially when I work night shift, I take them with my egg bites in the morning, and everyone's like, "Why is she eating at 6 in the morning?" I'm like, "'Cause this is what my circadian rhythm tells me what to do." But yeah, and I feel so much better, and I feel, like, way more self-reliant as well. And yeah, so that's a big thing with my anxiety and depression and stuff was, like, being able to actually be in control of what I'm eating and what I'm doing, and I felt like through my job, I wasn't able to do that, but now, like, with Susan's coaching and stuff, I just feel like it's been better, and, like, I'm actually able to give myself what I need.
I'm
Mhm.
so proud of you. I can't believe this is the same person. Just the difference, just seeing you. Because honestly, when I said I would love for the three of you to be on here, you were the one I thought was going to go, yeah, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Because
Yeah,
there
I
was
was very nervous. Yeah.
about everything. You were nervous about everything. And that confidence, I thought, is she going to even talk? And now you're just like, I'm going to tell her everything. Like, way.
Yeah, you can ask
So
Jo Quinn earlier today, I was like, "Oh, no." I literally told Jo Quinn, I was like, "Please, no. Please tell me you're busy. I can't do it today."
and look what you did. You
Yeah.
just, I'm so
I
proud
gotta
of you.
please cancel.
Look at the truth coming out here.
Yeah, and I told her, "Don't worry, I'm still on a boat, so Imma be late."
You oh, did you stay on that boat longer so that we might cancel to save her?
On it was not on purpose, I can tell you that. I was trying to finish that exam by the end of it for sure.
It's like, now that's a sister helping a sister out.
Yeah.
Anything for Madailine, I mean, anything for Madailine.
Love it. But I love this because look at the difference. And you just talked about yourself, just the level of confidence when you get in your groove and you're just like, you're just open about this is who I am. And you just own it. And I just sitting here going, Jesus, I I feel like a proud mama. Lisa's got to be like up there beaming. Yeah, this is just fantastic, and to just think that you really just needed to understand you, and the more you understand why you are how you are, it is so liberating, and that's the one thing that I really see in you is just you just are empowered, where before it was you were just timid and quiet, and I thought, God, I don't even remember. I might have even reached out to Lisa at one point and said, I don't know if she's getting it, but I thought, God, I hope I'm reaching at least something. And I'm just blown away. I'm just completely blown away at this amazing young woman you have just morphed into. And I think you're just going to continue to go fantastic places because it's you. You're just being you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
one more thing too is in my profile, it definitely said diplomats are indecisive. My whole life, I've been like, yeah, I'm the most indecisive person I know. I don't know what I'm doing ever. And that's definitely part of my anxiety. And just like, being able to realize that's literally just part of who I am and who I've been made to be. Like, it just
That's
is
so
who I
great.
am.
Yeah. And you can make a decision when you have the right amount of information to feel comfortable because the
Mhm.
diplomat primary hormone for people don't know. It's all about the comfort, and anything that's uncomfortable is ew. Don't do that. So the thought of making a wrong decision can really put you
Yeah.
into that analysis paralysis, especially on a big decision, until you have all the information, because it's just uncomfortable.
Right.
And then the perfectionism thing, we're talking about that. And I
Yes.
don't that okay, and if I screw that up, then I'm not perfect. And then I disappoint everybody. And it is a real thing with the Diplo. Real thing. But when you see we all screw up, take it from the activators, because we react quickly. And so I screwed that up too, but oh, take it from us. It's okay to not be perfect. And you'll get there. And you've become more comfortable with that. And just know let people know I take a little longer to make decisions. I'll get there. Don't rush me. Don't sell me, salesman. Don't sell me. Give me the information. I will get back to you. And then we'll call it good. So, thank you for just being so open and sharing that amazing story, and just where you are. Thank you. Okay, last but not least, she is finally in the spotlight after being in the car. Now she's in her new home, which is another, and you're going to talk about that too. It's funny how both of you ended up moving while we were coaching. Jo Quinn, and she told me, so what's a goal you have? And you said, I want to be the maritime muscle mom. And when you were sitting there, you went to move and you were stretching, I'm going, oh my God, look at her shoulders and biceps. Girl, you did it.
Oh, yeah.
She would send me, I was like, send me pictures.
Small arms now.
I love it. So talk a bit about your story, because yours is different. Yours is definitely different.
Yeah, no. Because let's see, when I met you, I was definitely not sleeping.
No.
That was probably the biggest thing for me. Because we started talking a little bit more about my goals, and I just wanted to fall asleep at a normal time instead of 3 a.m. and 2 a.m. And I just no matter I'd laid down, I'd just toss and turn all night, and I'd be waking up at 6 a.m. to go to work, not take any naps in the day because I wasn't trying to give my body more energy so when I wouldn't fall asleep, and it didn't matter what I did, what I tried. I would work out for 2 hours. I'd work out in the morning, I'd work out in the afternoon, I'd do double taps, and I'd still just would not fall asleep. And yeah, once I started PH 360, that was the biggest change. Was 10 o'clock and I'm in bed, and I'm I'm falling asleep now. And this is great. And I naturally wake up at a good time, on the weekends, which I was super surprised about too. I'm waking up
Oh
at
wow.
8 a.m. just naturally. So I don't even have to set an alarm. I get up, and if I'm out of bed by 8:30, I know I'm gonna have a productive day too. Which is
I
really
love
nice.
it.
Yeah.
And you were eating all the Coast Guard food.
Oh, yeah, that is very true.
Oh my God. What was that? Wait, was it goldfish?
Oh, absolutely. You can't be underway without goldfish, that's for sure. How else am I supposed to get my sustenance? But yeah, no, I was definitely eating a lot of bread and a lot of crackers and just snacks here and there because it's shift work when you're underway. So I'd be having those 12 to 4 a.m. watches and just constantly going through it. And I remember that probably another really shocking surprise was I started my transfer season. I was going to a land job afterwards, and I started PH 360 at the same time, and I lost 18 pounds in the first 2 weeks. And I was like, I didn't even know I needed to lose weight because I didn't feel overweight beforehand either.
No, you
But
didn't look it.
no, it was just all inflammation. And we started taking the measurements around my neck and my waist and everything like that. And I notice now too, when I put on a pair of shorts instead of having the elastic stretch into my body because I'm puffy, it just is muscle now. So it works really well. And I actually did an in-body scan because one of my friends works at a gym.
Oh,
We
sweet.
did an in-body scan, and I'm 19% body fat now,
Oh,
which is
that's
crazy.
perfect for where you
Yeah.
are. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. And yeah, the Coast Guard food, lots of, like you said, sandwiches, goldfish. It was all this process. And there was a little bit of the party. That's the
Oh,
culture, the military
uh,
culture.
can confirm nor deny all of that. But
And
yeah,
we
no,
found out your DNA was, you had the increased Alzheimer's risk.
yeah, that's correct.
And so
Which
crappy
gives
food,
me an out.
saturated alcohol, all of that is, and that high glycemic, so all that bread, all of that would have set, if you would have continued, that would have been each, like every day, like turning those genes up for later
Yeah,
in life.
yeah, no, and even now, it's like when I do have, because at that point too, like I'd have a glass of wine or something like that with dinner, and like I'd notice, oh, my stomach gets really, really upset, and like I started like feeling that physical stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, because maybe I just didn't want to admit it was the alcohol, but like now I don't have it like at all. Um, my friends never really pressure me, so that's nice. I just get out of it. But even when I do, oh, I want to treat myself, I'll have a glass or something like that. My body bounces back like way faster than it ever did beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell like when I've had like a good week of eating versus okay, this week wasn't the best, but how my body like reacts to certain things now, especially the processed foods, because
Yeah.
that's one thing I will never go back to. Like my friends make fun of me because they're like, "Oh, you're gonna go to Publix with your bougie like Yuka app and like things like that and pick out all organic stuff." And I'm like, "You don't want to see me when I'm on non-organic things, all right? I become a menace." Because that was the other thing. Like my stress levels were just so high all the time because I just wasn't treating my body good. That little things would just be setting me off left and right. And now it's I have a lot more issues, problems coming at work or something like that, and I'm just like, "It be what it be." And people are like, "How are you not freaking out right now?" And I'm like,
Because I
"I
eat
don't know what
organic,
it
because
is."
I'm bougie at
Oh,
Publix.
hell yeah. Yeah, my body thanks me.
Yeah. And you, when we first started, you weren't able to food prep because of where you lived.
Yeah, that's correct. I could food prep for 2 months for a time, and then I couldn't, but my job was so demanding too, is I was getting home so late, I just didn't feel like doing it by that time, so I'd grab the easiest thing. I'd grab the deli meat or whatever, the protein shake, which weren't necessarily good for me. But
And weren't
I
you living with people too?
um,
Didn't you roommates?
not when you met me. I had a roommate on the boat, but
Okay.
not
Okay. That's
not on land.
okay. And then you, then while we were working together, you got transferred to
Yeah.
Alabama
Good
to
old
start a new
Alabama.
job, but which was going to be better because it was going to be on land and not having to be out on the ship.
Mhm.
So it was a good thing because you knew that you were going to be able to have more normal hours at this point, but you were able to buy a house.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. And all of that was, like, a crazy time because my house wasn't gonna be ready until July, and I was transferring in June. All my friends were underway, so I was, like, had to do a personal move, and so, like, I did it all myself and everything. And luckily, I have some friends, families up here that were so kind to host me and allow me to do all my crazy meal prep in their home, and they were just like, "Can I try that?" So it was a good time. I would cook for them, they would cook for me, and it was a good time. Definitely, learning how to meal prep, which allowed me to go into my new job, like, a lot more prepared than I felt going into my last job.
Yeah. That
But,
meal
like
prep was a key.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But, yeah, no, it was ended up working out really well, and then I got into that schedule of like work, eat, work out. That's kind of my shifting through because I know if I go home in between like leaving work, I won't work out.
You won't work
So
out.
no.
Yeah. And you, when we started with you, we were doing like just basically 3 meals, don't snack. And you were hungry.
All the time.
You were so close to that sensor. You were hungry all the time. So I said, you know what? Because you are so close, and this is what Cam did with me because I was a cusp of connector, and I was like, why? I still can't lose this body fat. He's like, let's take some of the principles of the connector because you are cuss. And then it was like, boom, 11 pounds off, right? Like just by not having my sweet potato at night and having it in the daytime instead, like none of those things at night. And eating to about 80% fullness. Big difference. So for you, we said, let's bring more sensor to it and do the 3 meals, like smaller meals through the day to where you have that. And that was a game change for you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, because I felt like one of the bigger issues too with my job was because I would like sleep past breakfast or something like that, and I'm just so hungry throughout the day. I cannot stop myself snacking because that's in my DNA. Not my fault. Um, but yeah, so that was a huge game changer because we also started like adding the starch at my lunch rather than my dinner.
Yep.
And it would give me enough energy to get through my workouts. Because when we originally started on the Diplomat diet, I was like, I'm doing the same weights, I'm doing the same workouts as I was doing before, but I just cannot get through it. And you were like, why don't we add like, a little more starch? And how much cardio are you doing a week? And I said, cardio? I don't know. And he said, nope, 3 to 4 times, 30 minutes to an hour at least. And I'm like, Susan, I trust you. And I did that immediately. Like my weights actually went up in the amount that I could lift during the day, and I had enough energy to get through, go home, meal prep. So I ended up working out very well.
Yeah. And I remember you came on the one day and you said, now I am the maritime muscle mama. It's like, goal achieved.
Yeah.
Fun.
Absolutely. And it's crazy. Like all that happened in what, about 2 months since like we
Yeah.
started originally talking.
Yeah. Yeah. It was about 2 months, 2.5 months. And your skin looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You look fantastic. Like I said, I haven't seen any of you. I'm just like, you all look amazing. And yeah, just what a journey. And you're able to handle the stress better now. And so the sleep is better then?
Oh, it's amazing. I close my eyes and I'm just knocked.
Yeah, and sleeping through the
Game
night.
changer. Yeah, that also really lowers my stress too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
If you
check his
can't
box.
recover, if you can't sleep and you can't recover, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you're
Mhm.
doing all day. It's miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. So how are each of you, and you can pipe in whoever wants to. And I think we actually covered it because I was going to say, like, how have you been doing since? But everybody's like still following the pH principles. Lisa's going to be living it, working it. But the two girls, Jo Quinn and Madailine, you guys you're still basically following those same kind of, I don't like calling it rules, but just the principles around your health type and then further dialed in for you. And so we're with Jo Quinn, we had to add the extra meals, like kind of work everything around. Madailine was like perfect diplomat with 3 meals, no snacking, like just keep that like that. And Lisa's honed hers into the same, and now she's done the detox, and it's just like 3 amazing journeys here, and all 3 same health types, but as you hear the stories, all 3 very different, and not one of their profiles is close to the other. And even the DNA. And I didn't do Lisa's DNA, but I did the 2
You didn't.
girls.
I took, as a part of becoming a health coach, I did a DNA masterclass.
Oh, okay.
I've done like 30 hours towards DNA. So part of that process was doing my DNA and then studying it and going through that and really looking at everybody's DNA. If you have this variant, this is what happens. If you have this variant, this is what. Yeah, so I wanted to do something a little bit more in depth so that I could have that foundation. If you're an epigenetics coach, I feel like you should know a little bit about genes.
Know something about genes. Yep. And again, with the DNA, it's all about the expression. So if you have this variant, it's how this could happen.
Yep.
And I was actually, PhD 60 is coming out with a fantastic medical AI that I'm doing a little testing on. And so I uploaded all my stuff in today, and it was like, because you have this issue with the GAD1 genes and your COMTAA and all, it was like, here's things that I'm going, oh my God. Okay. So I wrote down 2 things that I hadn't even thought of. And I've been doing DNA for almost 6 years. So It's always evolving.
It's evolving, and it's you can't just look at one gene because everything interplays. And so it's like this humongous puzzle. And then, like you said, some genes are upregulated, some are downregulated. So it's this three-dimensional puzzle. And that's one of the things I love about PH 360 is it makes it simple in some ways because it looks at a lot of that information and can calculate it as to where humans, that's really complex.
We have that much brain power, right? And some of you more than others of us get to a certain point. I'm not the detail-oriented person. I was laughing. I interviewed a doctor that does DNA yesterday. We had a fantastic conversation. And I said, yeah, it's so funny because if you look at this bookshelf I have over here with all my books on it, they all have Post-its in there where I left off because I got what I needed to take action. And then they go back on the shelf. And I have 6 audiobooks I'm going through right now. It's, which one do I want to listen to today? What do I need to hear? Because to sit and really focus, I've had some where I'm super focused. I just did one in like just a few days, Mel Robbins, the Let Them Theory. Madailine, good one for you.
Text it to me, please.
I will. And I was hooked because I said, Mel Robbins has to be an activator or connector. There's no way around it. Everything she talked about, the FOMO and being upset if she didn't feel included. Oh, good. Oh my God. That's me, like how I used to feel. And it was just like transforming. So that one I listened to the whole way through, but others I'm like, yeah, okay, now I'm getting bored with that one. I need something else. So for those of you that have the brains that you want to just go down rabbit holes and you can sit there for hours on these rabbit holes gaining more data, I salute the 3 of you. I said, everybody else that does that, it needs to be fun. Right? But I'm so proud of all 3 of you. This is going to be fun to catch up and let people hear these stories, but everybody's stories has just blown me away where you are from where I left off with you several months ago. And for people that don't know, I literally have not seen these women in months. And the differences, I'm just, like I said, I feel like a peacock. I want to prance around. I am just so blessed to be any part of your journey. This is why I do what I do. And here, I'm going to get emotional. It's why I do what I do. And I make no bones about the fact that 3 years ago, after the pandemic stuff, I was so broke. I went through my whole entire nest egg. And that's scary in your late 50s. And I had people saying, you need to find a job. And I would try to find one and it would fall through. Just like nothing was working. But I said, I don't want to give up on this. I just feel like there's people that need me. There's people I can help. I literally saved some lives as a cop. And I felt that I was saving lives and I needed to keep doing it. Don't stop. And it's because hearing stories like you just validates me and why I never gave up and just kept at this. And so I want to thank Lisa, first of all, for making the quick decision, and characteristically, but to trusting me with your kids. And I just did DNA. I did DNA on the father about a year and a half ago, met him through doing true diagnostics interpretation. And he reached out to me over Thanksgiving and I just did his 9 and 11-year-olds.
Wow.
And they have some very rare genetic issues, just like he did. That to know this at this age, to see that what possibilities are, it's just a gift that you can't even put a price on it. Like just having the knowledge, and for you to have this knowledge at this age, like the body bounces back. If you screw up here and there, it's okay to not be perfect. As you both see, like you're not, and that's a good thing. But the awareness around what helps you to be more optimal, you will carry this the rest of your life now. And the difference in your quality of life and your health is going to be just amazing. But it's truly has been just a pleasure to work with the three of you and see these transformations, but just knowing all three of you personally, just as people, I just adore the three of you. And so when you were all in on coming on here, I was just like doing the dance. And just again, just so very grateful to be a part of this family journey that you've been on, even though we didn't get sister number 3.
Yeah, I haven't up on her yet, but she'll
Working on her. You've got access now. Keep working on her.
Yeah, part 2 coming soon.
St. Ledger, part 2.
But
does anybody have anything? Go ahead, Lisa. You're going to share.
Yeah, I do. Likewise, we want to thank you because you've been such a big influence in our lives. And as a mother, I knew when Madailine was coming home, she said, Susan told me to do this, and Susan told me to do that.
Justin, what's up?
Love that.
So it's just because Madailine and I we live closer than Jo Quinn, so I see her a little bit more. The impact that you see, and it's a small little steps at a time add up to this big picture. And like you said, you haven't seen us in a while, so then all of a sudden you come back in this check-in and leaps and bounds. It's like compound interest. We've got compound health. It just keeps growing and getting better and better. And we again appreciate everything you've done for us, and the health that you've brought into our lives is irreplaceable.
Yeah, whatever I say, like Susan said I can do this. That's how it goes.
Hey, you're the good guy or the bad guy?
I'm now beginning to question that.
But it's up. I can fluctuate. I'm down with that.
It's got the Susan stamp of approval. Honestly,
Yeah.
I use that too.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. The three of you are just a joy, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming on, and I think your stories are going to reach people, and that's what we're here for. We're here to get the word out that the difference personalized health makes. It's not. I didn't look at any of you the same because you can't. You're also very, very different, and when you dial somebody in to understand who they are, why they are, how they are, and love themselves for that. Again, it's just priceless. And I just hope you can bring some light to some people that might be dealing with some of the same things that you were dealing with when you started this, and just see that there really is an easy way to do this. And so I thank you for just being so candid and open in sharing all of your stories with us today. This is I'm just super grateful here. I got nothing else. So when you render me speechless, it's good. Anybody else? Anything else before we end? All good?
Yeah, just thank you. Forever grateful, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The ladies, St. Ledger. People, please share this with someone who, any of these stories, we know somebody that's going to resonate with this. And let's get the word out. Personalized health is not the future. It is here. It is now. And we have it. And Lisa, when are you going to be coming out with your business, the Resolution 360?
Definitely this summer. I think I want to get through the rest of the teaching, but I am making steps towards that. I need to get somebody to help me do web design. I'm working currently with 4 clients, and I've got 2 other people that I've got interest calls with. So it's starting to grow, but still being a full-time teacher, I feel like I can only do so many clients.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
We'll get there. I'm excited about it.
It's a start. You've got to start. And that's what matters, is getting out there and doing it. And you're already helping people. So great job. I salute you. And I'm here if you need anything. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. Get out there, make it a great day, and be your most authentic self. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, I'd love for you to share it with someone who'd find the information useful. Please leave a review anywhere you listen to podcasts, and it'll help the information get out to others. If you're interested in seeing if we're a great fit to work together, the link is in the show notes below where you can sign up for a free consultation with me. So go make it a great day and let your authentic self shine.